Coming up next is 2023, the end of the traditional 9-to-5 job, and then why we don't lead the life we want. And then we're going to take a look at hard things. And I'm going to coach you up. Let's go. All right, folks, welcome to the Ken Coleman Show, where we help you be uniquely you. Do what you were born to do so that you are winning at work and in life. More money and more meaning is the result of this quest. So let's just look at the current work environment, shall we? After all, you're listening, watching this show because it is coming from a professional context, and you know we want to help you win professionally because we believe that if you're winning professionally, you got a great chance of winning personally. And there's a lot of different trends that are coalescing, if you will, on us, the worker. So let's just look back at 2022 to get an idea of what it might look like in 2023. So let's look at first remote work. 58% of Americans had the opportunity to work from home at least one day a week. This is from the American Opportunity Survey. Hybrid work, 60% of employees whose work could be done off-site say they'd rather do hybrid work. What is hybrid work? Well, it's where you are required by your company to be in the office for a certain amount of time, and then you are allowed to work remotely wherever that is. And so this number, 60% of employees work who could be done off-site. They're sitting there going, I know I can do it off-site. I don't have to be in the office. They're going, well, I'd prefer a hybrid version. That is at least an acknowledgement that remote work isn't all it's cracked up to be. And the reason remote work isn't all it's cracked up to be, it's just simply one word: relationship. I mean, I'll be the first to say, I wouldn't argue with anybody for 2 seconds that they couldn't be productive remotely. I mean, I just, unless I guess you're a waitress or a waiter. I mean, we obviously understand that. Like, well, you kind of got to be in the restaurant to do the work, but we get what we're saying here. So it's never remote work, and my concerns and what I believe are inherent challenges about remote work have nothing to do with a person's ability to be autonomous, the ability to be productive somewhere else. I think where it breaks down is just relationship. And there's two breakdowns there. The remote worker, if I'm not around people very often, that begins to have an adverse effect on me relationally. It just does. And then that starts to work on me mentally, emotionally, physically. I mean, we humans long to belong. Even the greatest introvert listening and watching to me right now still longs to belong. We just want to be a part of something. You just don't want to be like in a big crowd. But you sure love the one-on-one interaction. The introvert gets energy from that. The extrovert gets energy differently. We understand that. And then the other side of the relational breakdown is that when a person is not engaging with coworkers and the leader in a real, and I'm trying to think of a different word than physical, because everybody's got a joke, everything you say these days, but it is I need to be in physical proximity is the word, the phrase. There's energy there. There's camaraderie there. So that's always been my concern. Hybrid marries the two, right? I have autonomy, flexibility in a remote situation, but I'm not completely detached from the tribe. Well, then there's a new trend. And notice I'm saying trend, not fad. I think there's a difference. To me, trend is evidence of adoption. A fad is just a temporary thing that's going to go away. Let me give you an example. The Macarena. Hey, Macarena, that stupid dance. That was a fad, right? popular song, everybody does the dance, and now when I say it, everybody in the control room laughs, and it's like, it was stupid at the time, but everybody did it. It was a fad. It wasn't here to stay. A trend is, hey, we've got consistent adoption of something. Okay? It's not the Macarena, or I'm trying to think of the one after that. It doesn't matter. I'm getting distracted. My ADHD is flaring up, and I got to take my medication. A trend means the activity is being adopted. It's consistently building, and so the 4-day work week is doing that. The global 4-day work week pilot was a huge success, according to the organizers, and they're basing this on the data. Participating businesses in this pilot, and this was in the United States, folks. There's a much larger study happening in the UK right now. And please don't mistake me reporting the facts as endorsing this. Good heavens. We live in a day and age where I've got everybody that's a public platform's got to parse out their comments. I am not endorsing remote work. I am not endorsing hybrid work. I am not endorsing the 4-day work week. I am simply observing and telling you about it. Gosh, that irritates me that I have to do that. Participating businesses in the global 4-day week pilot reported an 8% increase in revenue throughout the 6-month trial period. 42% of participating employees say they would need a huge pay bump to go back to the 5-day work week. And then the employees reported, this is the operating word, higher productivity due to less burnout and more flexibility. And then another trend that we saw was employee autonomy, where companies were basically saying, we are not adopting a blanket policy on only in the office, only remote, only hybrid. We're just going, this is what we want you to do. This is how we want you to do it. This is when we want you to do it. Now go do it. Now that's true autonomy. It's going, hey. And again, I'm not endorsing that. Everybody relax. But it's interesting. And it is trending. And let me just say this, whether you like it or not, it speaks to a very important human element that I crave, you crave, we all crave. You know what it is? Independence. I mean, that after all is what autonomy is. I mean, it's a synonym for independence and freedom and liberty. And it's like, if you look around the world, it doesn't matter the region of the world. It does not matter the religion in that part of the world. We all crave liberty, freedom, independence, autonomy. And to the extent that a leader can put a team together, no matter what your style of work is, to where that individual and that team is autonomous to the extent that they know what they're supposed to do, why, when, how, that's the goal. Coming up next, why we actually don't lead the life we desire to lead.
Do you know what you were born to do? In order to get hired at a job you love, you need to get clear on your talent, passion, and mission. That's why our team created the Career Clarity Guide. In just a few minutes, this free tool will walk you through a process to discover what you do best, that's your talent, the work you love to do, that's your passion, and the results that matter to you, your mission. Then you'll feel more confident throughout the job search process. To get started, go to kencoleman.com/clarity.
Are you leading, or we could say living, the life that you want? It's a pretty heavy question. Now, let me parse this out because we're going to dive deep into this. I don't want you thinking of circumstances. I want you going, well, I broke my foot last month. That's not what I want. I wanted to be right. I'm not talking about circumstantial things that are happening. I'm not even talking about certain seasons. I'm talking about big direction, big vision, big desire. That's what I'm talking about. Are you on the path? Are you making progress on the path to the destination, to the type of life you want to lead? I'll give you examples. You want to be debt-free? You want to live debt-free? Are you leading a life that is moving you closer to that? Do you want to own a business, your own business? Are you leading a life that is moving you towards that goal? Do you want to be a parent? Do you want to be married? Start to fill in the blank. That's a common phrase, probably a little bit older, but I want to hone in on that today. Because as I introduced it, the first question was, are you leading the life you want? And I said, or are you living the life? But that phrase, are you leading the life that you want? It's very interesting because when we think of the context of leading, it's almost always in the sense that I'm leading someone else. But what is leading? What is leadership? Well, see, leaders should, asterisk here, good leaders, great leaders, should know where they're leading people. Where are we as an organization? Where are we as a team going? Good leaders know our where. Good leaders, because they know the where, can also instantly say why. Well, here's why we're going there. So this is where we're going, and this is why we're going there. Now, I want us to pause, and we're diving deeper here. So if we pull back from that, if that's true of a great leader, then let's just jump into our own lives. Are you leading the life you want? In other words, are you able to tell yourself, this is where I want to be in my life? Can you then quickly answer the why to the where? Why do I want to be there? So if a person is clear and says, for instance, I want to live a life debt-free, they can answer the why. There's probably a very personal why. Well, because I saw my mom and dad struggle with debt and just pinch pennies and never have any freedom to do anything. And they were just burdened by money all the time. And so that's a half of the why. The other half is probably, I don't want to live that way, but I'd also like to live in a way where I can have freedom and make memories and give some of my money away to make things better in this world, and then the why continues to get more and more clear. Okay. So let's keep going. Great leaders know where they're leading the team or the organization. They know why they're leading them there. And they have pretty decent ideas on how they will get there. Right? So I want to climb this mountain. I know why I want to climb this mountain. And now I got to figure out how to climb the mountain. Okay. This is synonymous with great leadership. So back to us. Are we leading the lives we want to lead? Let me ask another question. Are we leading the lives we should be leading? Ooh, now that's tough. There's a want to, and then there's a should. Sometimes my want doesn't match up with my should. And that's the heart of what we're trying to do on this show, is for you to see how you are uniquely put together. You've got talents that become tools for you to do good stuff. You've got a heart. I refer to it as passion, to love, to enjoy doing certain things and creating certain results. And then you have a sense of mission. In other words, You see results that you would love to contribute to the world, and you want to contribute to those results. And so that's like that mission. And so when I use what I do best to do what I love, to produce results that matter to me, man, I'm making a great contribution because it is my contribution. It is unique to me. Only I can make that. So this idea of leading a life, how are you leading yourself? If I were to say to you, how would you lead others? I think you'd probably be able to posit a couple of answers and say, I think I'd have to do it this way and this way and this way. Or maybe you would pull from your own experience of life where you've had a good leader who led you well. So are you leading yourself? So what do good leaders do beyond the knowing the where and the why and the how? Good leaders love their people. You got to love yourself. You cannot lead the life you want to lead if you don't love yourself. Now, this is not narcissism, conceit, selfishness. It's not that. It's just, you know what? When I love my wife and I love my kids and I love my friends and I love my coworkers, when I love them, at the end of the day, I'm saying, I accept you. Good, bad, ugly, right? The vows are for better or for worse, in sickness and in health. It just means I'm with you and I'm not going to leave you. We need to have that conversation with ourselves. In other words, when I start my diet in January 1 and January 4, I pound a bowl of ice cream at 10 o'clock and I wake up the next morning, instead of hating myself, I ought to go, you know what? I wish I would not have pounded the ice cream last night at 10 o'clock. But I'm not going to hate myself and beat myself up today. That's what I mean by love yourself. Great leaders serve. It's because they love that they serve. Now watch this. If you love yourself, you will serve yourself. And what that means is you will take care of yourself. So leading the life you want to live, leading the life that you desire is all about, first, I need to know my why. I need to know I need to know the where. I need to know the why. And I need to try to figure out the how. But in the process, I'm going to love myself. I'm going to serve myself. I'm going to take care of myself mentally, physically, emotionally, all the things. I'm going to have the quiet time. I'm going to put the right people around me to hold me up. But here's the sad truth, and I've got a quote for you. John Cotter once said, most people don't lead their own lives, they accept their lives. And that's the whole point of what I have just challenged you to process. Accepting our lives is, these are the circumstances, this is the environment I grew up in, these are the experiences that have happened to me. I didn't have any control over any of that, and that's true. But accepting circumstances, accepting experiences, accepting defeats, accepting pain, accepting misfortune, accepting attacks, accepting wrongdoings that have come my way. That's a recipe for misery and regret. But leading myself, no matter what comes my way, hey, I know my where, I know my why, I've got a good idea on the how, and when life throws its stuff at me, I'm going to go, okay, the how may change, the when may change, but the where and the why don't change. That is how you lead the life that you truly want.
Are you wondering if you should leave your current job or stay put? You're not alone. That's why we created the Should I Quit My Job quiz. In just 5 minutes or less, this quiz will help you determine if you're at the right company and if you're in the right role. If you need to make a move, you'll even get practical next steps to keep you moving forward. Listen, stuck is a choice, and life is too short not to do what you were created to do. To take the quiz, go to kencoleman.com/quiz.
Life is hard. Woo! There's some positivity coming your way. Hey, welcome back to the Ken Coleman Show. Life sucks. I was being serious the first time, sarcastic the second time. Life is hard. Life does not suck. Life is hard. Life does not suck. Now, I will fully admit that there are times where you can have a really sucky day and you can have a sucky season while it's hard. But I would also submit to you that you can have some really freaking awesome days, some freaking awesome seasons, and life is still hard. I want you to just process that. I want you to think for just a moment to a season in your life where there were some great days, maybe some great weeks, some maybe great months, but it was really, really hard. I'm going to tell you, I'm in that right now. I'm in that right now in a couple areas of my life. I was telling Stacy this morning that when you are attempting to influence the lives of other people to help them win, which I am, there must be a continual process of examination, execution on what you examine. It's the best way to do it. And so I'll give you a very specific example of hard times, but good things happening. Because I want us to get this, and then I'm going to just really go deep into what our human response is to hard times, hard things. But I just want to give you this example. Phone call this morning. My best thinking time is typically in the car, and I have about a 20-minute drive to work every day. And so Alex, my producer, he's riding shotgun, and we're always looking at how to improve this show, grow the show, because growing the show means that we're helping more people. Okay, so the more people we help, the more the show grows. So we want to help people and just really dialing some things in, programming to the different platforms that we're on. I mean, this is a real challenge because there's a different audience on YouTube than there is on podcasts. There's a different audience on talk radio than there is Sirius XM. It's just different. And so the way the world has evolved in 2023, from my context as a professional content provider, is that you have to be really clear on what it is you're doing and why, but then you have to diversify. So I was telling my wife on the phone, I said, babe, I got to tell you, man, I had some great thoughts in the car. I didn't say man. I said, babe. I did say that. And I said, I just want you to pray for me today because I'm tackling something right now that is one of the hardest things I've ever had to do. She goes, really? And I said, it's not bad. It's great. But it's really hard. And what is it? I'm not going to break that down for you all, but I want you to just know that I'm in it. I'm trying to figure out how to diversify to multiple platforms, but simplify the message. Alex, it's really hard. Meaning I'm thinking harder than I've ever thought. I'm going to have to work harder than I've ever worked. Here's my point. That's a good thing. It's great. Why? Because there's a direct result on the other side of hard things that I'm excited about. That leads me to my point. Hard things. Let's break down hard things. Let's talk about some of the most important hard things, shall we? All right, no particular order. Work is hard. It's just hard. Running a business is hard. Leading people is hard. Producing a show is hard. Coming up with content every day is hard. Marriage is hard. Oh, baby, I'm coming up on 25 years. Woohoo, I've made it. Wait, quitting now. We were never going to quit. That's why we're here. But let me tell you something. And Stacy would tell you it's harder for her than it is for me because she has to live with me. But I'm telling you, marriage is hard. Parenting is harder. I'm just going to tell you. For those of you that are married without kids and you think marriage is hard, you're right. I got news for you. Parenting, 10x harder in every way. But here's what I know about me and hard things, and I wonder if you're this way. The harder something is in any of those areas of my life, the more I start to wonder, is this impossible? It sounds like, why am I doing this? Or should I be doing this? When should I quit this? This is what happens. Now, I don't know if anybody's like me. I'm just telling you this is what I'm like. The harder something gets, the more I start to wonder if it's impossible. Oh, man. And then here's the temptation. While I'm wondering if it's impossible, because my brain is wired to solve, I start to go, I think it's time to make an excuse. Now, we don't say it that way, but our brain goes, oh, well, then we need to come up with a reason why we should stop doing it. There's a reason why it's hard, and it's not because it's something I should be doing. And so what happens is we begin to excuse our way into it's a smart decision to quit. No, it's not. It's easy. The right things are always hard. The right things are always going to be hard. The right business is going to be hard to get off the ground and make it win. The right marriage is going to be hard. The right parenting is going to be hard. Now, just quick pullback. Because some of you are, I know, innately, and you should be asking the question, well, what about hard things that I should be quitting? Great. Yes. So the distinction is it the right thing? The right things will always be hard things. Anything worth doing is going to be difficult. You should lose 50 pounds. I got news for you. It's going to be hard. You should stop drinking too much. I got news for you. It's going to be hard. You should start that business that you've always wanted to start. I've got news for you. It's going to be hard. Now, let's flip that. You aren't catching a break because you're spending time around the wrong people. Stop spending time around the wrong people. Your business isn't working because there isn't a market for it. Nobody wants to buy pet rocks in bulk. Yes, you should stop doing it. It's hard because it's wrong. Yes. But I'm not talking about the wrong things. I'm here to help you get clarity on what the right things are. You using what you do best, your talent, to do work that you love, passion, to produce results that you care deeply about, mission, that's the right thing. You trying to do something that you're no good at is the wrong thing, and yes, it will be hard. But my challenge is not about that. My challenge is if you know you are doing the right things and it is hard, here's what you need to understand. It's hard because it matters. That's the good news. You know why it's hard? Because it's going to take a lot of effort, because doing anything worthwhile requires a lot of effort. It's a good sign. Don't you dare quit. Stay the course. Press on. Make that contribution that you know you're supposed to make.
If the thought of attending a networking event makes you break out in hives, you're not alone. And I'll let you in on a secret. Networking in the traditional sense doesn't work, but genuine connection is all about relationships. That's why we created Networking the Right Way. This free guide is the low-pressure, high-impact way to overcome the awkwardness, build real relationships, and turn your connections into opportunities. To get the guide, go to kencoleman.com/network.
Your empathetic and energetic coach, I am. I don't know why I'm speaking like Yoda, but, sometimes it just hits me. Hey, I am here to help you fulfill this statement. It's been the signature statement of this show since the day I started it, and I'll remind you if you're brand new. This is what I believe about every person on the planet, that you were created to fill a unique role. You are needed. You must do it. You know what that means? You were created to fill a unique role. You are unique. Nobody else like you. You are needed means you're really valuable, and you are. I don't care what anybody said to you, done to you. You are really valuable. In other words, you are priceless. But you must do it means there's a responsibility for you to show up and be you. You got to do it. And I'm here to help. So let's get to helping. David's on the line in Seattle, Washington. David, you're on the Ken Coleman Show.
Hey, Ken, how's it going?
I'm living the dream, brother. What are you doing?
I'm doing all right. I guess I'm in a somewhat of a good predicament. But I guess my question boils down to this. I'm debating staying at my current job for the benefits over a job offer I received that seems like a more ideal job, more in line with what I want to do. So that's kind of where I'm at.
Be specific. What do you
Sure.
mean? What benefits? So I already understand the parts that you've been offered a job that is on the ladder you want to be on, correct?
Right.
It allows you to climb. It gets you to the point where you're climbing the ladder. Yes or no?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And yet you're considering staying at your current job. Why? What specific benefits?
Yeah, so I'm in. My wife is actually going to have a baby, or we're going to have a baby in April. And so my job offers a pretty substantial parental leave of paternity leave in the amount of 12 weeks or something like that.
Okay.
So yeah, I guess that was one of the factors. And then there's another factor regarding the annual bonus.
Okay.
So
you get all right. Let's just do good old pros and cons. By the way, congratulations on the little one. That's very exciting.
Thank you.
So if you stay in your current job, you're going to get 12 weeks to be home with mom and the baby, and that's quite a perk.
Yeah.
No denying that, man. I get that. That's pulling at your heart. I get it. What's the bonus going to be?
About 10%.
10%. Give me a number. What's the bonus going to be?
$10,000.
$10,000. If you take the new job, how much more money you're going to make than the salary you're making now?
I guess about $10,000 more.
$10,000 more.
Yeah.
So there's no reason to stay at the current job for money, because the money is not a legitimate factor. You're not losing any money. And based on what you told me, if you take the new job, it is putting you on the path, the ladder that you want to climb. And that means that promotion and more pay is certainly realistic. True or false?
Yes.
All right.
Yeah.
So now it comes down to the leave, the 12 weeks of maternity leave that your current job will give you. The new one will not.
Correct. Yep.
Are you asking me what you should do, or are you asking me what I would do?
I guess, yeah, I guess I'm just seeking wisdom. I guess so.
All right, so here's the deal. I would never sacrifice the future on the altar of the immediate. I let that sit on purpose. Do you understand what I'm saying? Don't sacrifice.
If you could elaborate.
All right. So, in the Old Testament, if I can take you into some biblical visions, all right, whether you're in church or not, you get the idea of sacrificing an animal?
Sure. Yeah.
Okay. So the idea of sacrificing your future on the altar of the immediate just simply means I would never, ever, 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 ever sacrifice an opportunity to fast forward my future because there was something in the present that was attractive. And that's the 12-week leave. I wouldn't do it. I would take the new job and I would begin the process of moving forward, fast forwarding my goals, my dreams, my vision. And I would just come home at the end of the day and love all over the baby. And I would take the midnight shift and be tired for 12 weeks.
Yeah. And I guess I left this out, but I work remotely. So.
All right. Well, I got to run. I'm running out of time. It does not change my answer. Do what you want to do with your life.
Or the average job offer attracts over 250 applicants. If you've made it to the interview, you've already made a great impression. So now is the time to showcase how you are the best choice for the role. That's why we created How to Win the Interview. This free guide will walk you through the 5 strategies to help you stand out amongst the competition. With just some intentionality, you can prepare yourself to win the interview. Go to kencoleman.com/interview.
Helping you get unstuck and become unstoppable in your progress forward to live the life that you want to live. I'm Ken, and this is the Ken Coleman Show. Sheridan, Wyoming is where we're going to go. But before we go there, where Jessica is, I do want to say 2 things. Thank you, and please keep doing it. Thank you to those of you who listen to the show via podcast that have given us a great review, have subscribed and shared the show. And to those who watch on YouTube, thank you for liking the show, for subscribing and sharing. You are the greatest marketing tool that I have, and I need your help. And when I ask you to help me grow the show, what I'm really saying is help me help more people. So I'm going to start saying it that way. Because the more you share the show, the more people we have the opportunity to help, and that's what we are about. So thank you. Thank you. Will you please keep doing it? All right. Sheridan, Wyoming is where we go. Jessica is there. Jessica, you're on the Ken Coleman Show.
Hi, Ken. Happy New Year.
Happy New Year to you, Jessica.
I took your assessment, and I'm just needing some next steps. I have several dreams and wondering where to go from here. I'm feeling a bit stuck in my current job. So.
Okay. All right. So you're talking about the Get Clear Career Assessment.
Yes.
And do you have your results in front of you?
Yes, I do.
All right. So what I want you to do is, let me tell you what we're going to do. I want you to share your results. I'm going to write them down. And then you're going to share with me and the audience the several dreams you're kicking around.
Okay.
And then what we're going to do is we're going to run those dreams through the filter of the purpose statement that the assessment gives you. Does that make sense to you? You like that plan?
Yes, that sounds great.
Because what I think you need more than anything is confidence.
Yes.
And we're going to give you confidence by diving into clarity. So let's go to your assessment results, and I want you to read it slow me. I want you to read it slowly so that I can keep up with you, okay? So what were your top 3 talents? What you do best?
Compassion, discernment, and justice.
Compassion, discernment, I got to read my own writing, and judgment. Okay. And your top 3 passions, this is what, justice, sorry. See what I'm doing? I'm trying to talk, host a show, and write at the same time. Not very easy. Okay, your top 3 passions, which we define as what you love to do, type of work. What are those 3?
Advocating, protecting, and creating.
Advocating, protecting, creating. And then your top missional result, which is the results that motivate you. What was your top mission?
service.
Service. Okay. Now, when you got your results and you read that and you kind of dove into the descriptions, and we're summarizing these things and kind of giving you some language to hold on to, do you feel like this hits you pretty good?
Yes, it did. I'd say the creative work is definitely my favorite.
Mm-hmm. So the creating. So what's interesting is we'll come back to these answers, because what you have, and for our audience, what Jessica now has is a purpose statement that says she was created to use her talents of compassion, discernment, and justice to do the work that she loves, advocating, protecting, and creating, to create the result of service. Okay, so that's how all these answers come into a sentence. And the idea is that this tool is designed to give you this 50,000 foot view of the world at work, and what a dream job looks like for you is where you're spending most of your day doing this. Okay. And so that's where the clarity comes in. So tell me these top couple of dreams you mentioned.
Well, my background is both in design and nursing. I'm currently working in design, but my dream is I've started a side hustle, landscape design. And so I'd really love to push that forward and maybe eventually have we live in a rural farming and ranching area, and to have a farm to table store that's affiliated with the landscape design, where regional producers can bring their goods, and like a farm to table store. So
Very interesting. So if you could snap your fingers and make it all work today, you would be full-time in the landscape design, spend enough profit to where you start messing around and kind of getting up and going on a farm to table type thing.
Yes.
This is very interesting. This is one of the most fascinating results of an assessment that you said hit you, and I believe it hit you, but how it's not exactly prescriptive. It's just, it's fascinating to me.
Yeah.
because I think you, the person, you are probably much in your personal life, and as a nurse, you used your talents of compassion, discernment, and justice. And what I frame justice up for people that are kind of watching and listening in is that you have this natural knack, this natural talent to see right and wrong and be very, very clear on what is right and what is wrong. And it just pulls you in, and you're very clear on that. Is that true in describing you?
That is true. Yeah. And that's the one that really threw me at first, but once I read that description, that nailed it for sure.
Good. And you know where I think the justice thing is coming out for you in landscape design is I think it makes you a purist.
Yeah, true. Very much so.
Yeah. I just think that's saying you're a purist. You're good at so what that means is your designs are going to be very, very personal to you based on your conviction about what landscaping should look like. Am I right?
Yeah. Yes. 100%.
All right. So that's I needed to get that one.
Very right.
The discernment piece again, that's again just a great talent that you're just going to put to work as it relates to when you're listening to your client and you're coming up with designs. You've got to use that natural discernment to allow it to fuel your design. Are you tracking with that?
Yes.
Okay, good. Now, when we talk about advocating, protecting, and creating, all of those things, that's what you love to do. But I think the advocating and the protecting, I think were a season for you. And I think this idea of creating is the thing that's leading you right now. And I think you follow that. I think it confirms the landscape design. However, the farm to table idea, I think, starts to pull back into the protecting thing for you.
Yeah.
You get it? Because off the air, I want you to go back and reread how I define the passion of protecting. And it's not exactly how it sounds. It doesn't mean I'm a police officer or a soldier per se, but it could. But when you look at the heart of what I wrote there, I think the protecting for you is going to be coming out big time in the farm to table stuff, because you're going, this is healthy food. This is the way we ought to eat and consume food.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah, see, that's the advocating. That's coming out too. You should be eating food this way. Here's why. Here's what it does for you. You get that?
Yes.
Okay, I'm very excited right now. Oh, I'm excited. Because I think the answer is yes, you should pursue landscape design, and yes, you should spin off a farm-to-table side hustle once we get landscape design going. But I would not allow yourself to get too distracted. Chasing two rabbits means I lose both of them.
Okay. So in the meantime, I'm in a job where just keep working that side hustle right now, and my current job is really sucking the life out of me, but...
Yeah, well, we got to replace that pretty soon. So the question is, can you go make the money you need to make doing landscape design for somebody else so that you get some more experience? In other words, you get paid to learn how you would like to do it, and then eventually you go start your own. We've got to get to a financial place to where you can start your own landscape design, right?
Right.
So
yeah.
now we just don't overthink it. You may have to stay in this job that sucks the soul out of you for a little longer, but your mindset's different, and thus I think you can put up with it a little bit longer by going, I got to stay in it for just a little while longer in order to be in a place to make the stroll into the next thing. Make sense?
Yes.
Yeah, you got this. I appreciate the call. Remember this, you matter. You have what it takes. Press on.
Thanks for listening to The Ken Coleman Show. For more, you can find the show on demand wherever you listen to podcasts and watch the show on YouTube. You can also find Ken across all social media by following @Ken Coleman.